Hi, my name is William Schaeffer, and our book review today, Civilization and Its Discontents by Sigmund Freud. I first read this book about 40 years ago when I was in college at the urging of a friend of mine. I found it enjoyable then and have read through it on occasion since then. Civilization and Its Discontents by Sigmund Freud. The thing I like about this book, it's very readable and very eloquently written. Sigmund Freud is responsible for really inventing psychology and the psychoanalytic theory, the id, the ego, the superego, and his type of psychoanalysis and therapy. Apparently, Freud was the only one that invented a complete theory of personality. Now, since that time, which was like the 1870s, many aspects of Freud's ideas and his works have been discounted. And he's no longer really taught very much in the school of psychology, but he's still taught in the school of philosophy and literature. And after he made his mark and his fame as a psychoanalyst, he started writing works that were more philosophical in nature. And this book was written towards the end of his life, about 10 years before his death. Civilization and Its Discontents. Let me just read the opening sentences. It is impossible to escape the impression that people commonly use false standards of measurement, that they seek power, success, and wealth for themselves and admire them in others, and that they underestimate what is of true value in life. And yet, in making any general judgment of this sort, we are in danger of forgetting how variated the human world and its mental life are. And the prose continues throughout the book at that level of thoughtfulness, eloquence, and wisdom. And it's just a joy to read the book itself. The thesis of the book is very simple, and it can be expressed, it's written on the back page. Basically, civilization is a trade-off where we trade our personal freedoms for the security of an environment where we're protected from dangers of famine, of wild animals, of warfare, of whatever. And we have accepted identification with the group, the city, the tribe, and accepted their restrictions on our behavior so that we can enjoy the protection of this larger group. And that's kind of the thesis of the whole book, that we intuitively and instinctively know that we're being restricted in our society from being the fullest manifestation of what we could be. And that is part of the ennui or the depression or the unhappiness of a lot of modern man in the modern world. We're stuck in this framework of society that's limiting us, that's holding us back. In the words of Freud, if civilization imposes such great sacrifices not only on man's sexuality but on his aggressivity, we can understand better why it is hard for him to be happy in that civilization. In fact, primitive man was better off in knowing no restrictions of instinct. To counterbalance this, his prospects of enjoying this happiness for any length of time were very slender. Civilized man has exchanged a portion of his possibilities of happiness for a portion of security. And that's kind of the thesis of the whole book. And he expands on it in the history of civilization and the theme as it recurs in the classics. But for me as a young man, it was important to read to just get used to the idea that living in society has its unhappiness that's generated just by the restrictions of being a part of that society. And few people can talk about that subject and express it with such literary eloquence as Sigmund Freud. Therefore, if you're looking to read something of a philosophical nature on why you feel unhappy with your place in the world, I highly recommend Civilization and Its Discontents by Sigmund Freud. Thank you, and leave your comments below.